Hey everyone, this is Djimusic, and I'm back with another video, and today we're going to be doing another map maker's guide. This time, it's going to be to 14 week 20B. Now, I'm actually in my new house, so I finally moved in over the weekend, so I'm actually in my new house and my new setup. So if it sounds a little bit different because of like echoey or anything like that, that is why. So I'm testing out some recording settings, but mostly it's going to be about the same. I'll do a house tour probably later in the week or next week, as soon as I get all my boxes unpacked, but you get the idea. It'll come. So basically, let's just get on with the snapshot review as a map maker's guide, like I usually do, and show all the cool features that you can do. And yeah, so this is gonna be the 14 week 20B snapshot. This is actually one of the ones where they're just adding like one feature per snapshot, but the features that they're adding are kind of amazing. They're gonna make map making a lot easier and map making a lot better. So first of all, let's go over the tab menu change. If you actually click tab, let me actually activate one. So if you click tab, you can see that it's actually not taking up the entire screen like it used to do. It's actually all it's taking up is it's taking up just the part of it. So it's just not gonna like droop down like to half your screen if there's only one player online. It's just gonna show that one player. If you do hearts, they've also fixed that. As you can see, if I click this, you'll actually see it switch, and you'll see the green bar that shows my connection. That actually is gone with hearts because you don't need it. It's just extra information. So now you can just see the hearts and it will just kind of display nicely and you don't have to worry about anything like that. So that's basically that. They've also changed it for spectator mode. So let me go to game mode 3 and you'll see that my name actually goes gray. And that's the new feature. So if you have people that, even if this, if they have a value registered, if they're spectator, they will not be visible. So if you're doing a UHC, even though they will actually have health, they will not actually see it and they'll be gray. So that's just another kind of, it's also like grayed out. It's kind of bolded as well, so that's pretty cool. Spectator mode actually now works vertically for the scrolling. So if I go to spectator mode right here and scroll up, I scroll all the way up. Now I actually go up ridiculously fast. Scroll back down, go back to normal speed going down, scroll down. So if you can actually move around a lot faster. So if I just kind of give you a tour of my world, you can kind of see that I'm going up as well. And I'm actually going up ridiculously fast. You can also fly down here and you can see my my explosive snowballs test that I was having fun with. But yeah, you can just fly around really easily. You don't have to worry about this stupid slowing, like slowly going down. That is now fixed. And yeah, so that's gonna be a lot easier to, for spectator mode to actually work because you'll actually be able to get around. The next thing they added is actually a new title command. So this is actually a command that makes it kind of makes it so that you actually can show, so you can actually show text on the screen. So if I do /title, and then I do the player, so we want all players. Actually, I'll just do this. So there you go. So that's how you use it. If you do /title, and then you do the player, so add a. Then you do the type, so I'm going to set the title, because if you do subtitle, it will not display unless you do a trick that I'll show you in a little bit. And then you do the JSON. So with JSON, you actually can just do, if you just want to say like one word, you can do that. So like that, you can just see hi pop up. It's actually on a little timer that I've already set up. So if I go to this and then I type times, that's how you set the times. So then we'll set the times to fade in, how long it stays and how long it takes to fade out. So let's make it fade in for 1 second, fade out for, it's not actually seconds, I think it's game ticks. 5 for 1 second, make it stay for 10 seconds, and fade out for 5 seconds. So now if I do the exact same command as I did before, you'll see it fades in a little bit and then fades right out. So you can actually just kind of make some cool effects like that if you want to, like say game is starting without having to be in the chat, because the chat can get really cluttered if you're doing mini games, especially if you're on a server. Now you can actually use the title command and do stuff like that. Another thing you can do is you actually can use JSON text. So if you do actually make this a JSON tag, you can do hello world, and then if you do comma color and the color tag, so let's make it red, comma bold :true, you can actually make it bold text. So you can do that, and then you can also add the extra tag, the wonderful brackets, and then if you do text : exclamation point, and then you can, if you don't actually need quotes there, but I just do it because it's a string, it's just a programming thing that I do. And then if you do color : let's do gray. It's gonna look terrible, but for the actually we'll do black because that's kind of cool. And we'll do comma bold : false, so it won't be bolded. Click enter, you'll see the exclamation point at the end actually is black. It looks really weird, but you get the idea. you can also do spaces. So if you want to do, let's just space it out a little bit. Now you can see it's at the end, and it just kind of looks pretty cool. And you can see what you can do with that. Anything you can do with the Tellraw command, you can basically do in the chat. This is my favorite thing that they finally added. I've been asking for this for ages. The selector, the @selector, is now in the Tellraw command. So basically, this is how you used to have to do it. Players in the game, Djimusic. This is a simple say players in the game @A. Now all you have to do is you can actually do Tellraw all players in the game. You can colorize it easily. You don't have to worry about say command at all anymore. Say command is completely, you don't need it anymore. Then all you have to do is add selector, :@A, and once you do that, basically players in the game, Djimusic. You don't have to worry about that. You can also, if you want, add a score value. So if you want radius of 5, let's do radius of 2. So now, if you're back far away, it won't work. If you're up close, it will say your name. So it actually does work like exactly like the say command. You don't need to worry about that anymore, and you can finally convert it. My say filter, my Tellraw to save, or my say to Tellraw filter, that is not updated yet. It still will not work. I'm going to be making that work soon. Just stay tuned. I will do a Twitter post as well as a blog post on my website. So just stay tuned for that to be updated. But as soon as that is updated, you actually will be able to use my say to Tellraw filter for any say command, and it will just work instantly. And it's gonna be awesome because you don't need to do say anymore, and it say is broken and stupid. So I'm excited for that. So finally, as you can see, there's this huge thing that I've been jumping over for quite a while. I decided to build something that you can do now, and it's actually something that you could do for a couple snapshots. I built this a couple snapshots ago, but I decided to actually incorporate it like a UHC theme. So this actually is in my newest version of my UHC map. It's not on the website yet, but it will be up probably by the time this video goes up. So all you have to do, I'm going to show how it works first. So let me go game mode 0, get myself a pickaxe. Let me do XP minus 300L, so it clears my levels. And let's get mining. What is this? I have iron from that. And I'm getting XP. And it says iron on the screen. Whoa. So basically this is the auto-smelter thing that you've seen many times. It's just pretty cool. This was actually suggested by Fly Crusher. He's the person that I met through a map making chat, and he does some awesome Race for the Wool maps. And he actually was like, I kind of want auto-smelting. And I was like, okay, I'll build you a system. And this is what we came up with. So basically there's a couple things going on. It also works for gold. Gold is actually in the middle of the screen. So you can actually see the message pop up in the middle screen. That is completely customizable, and I'll show you how to do that. So basically, the things that are going on, as I was saying. So basically, when it breaks it, it does spawn a gold ingot. So this actually does basically completely get rid of the gold ore. So you cannot pick up the gold ore no matter what. If you stand close, you'll just get the gold nugget or the gold ingot. So first thing it does is spawn like gold. Another thing it does is it spawns the particles for the fire that you see right there. And the last thing it does is spawn XP, because you don't have to smelt it anymore, so you don't get any XP. Now this is all customizable. You can say exactly how much XP you get, but right now I just basically have, this is just kind of a comparison, and you can see the diamond on the side. So basically all this is doing is showing the text, but basically you can do a lot of stuff. This is kind of a combination of all the stuff you can do. So let's go into the command blocks. This is all it is. Let's go through it. So basically each row of these is a different part of the command. So let's start here. This is a simple fill clock. It's filling with clay first, and then filling with redstone blocks to create a clock like this, a 20 hertz clock, which basically makes it fast enough so that you will never actually get the gold ore or the iron ore. If it's not fast enough, this will actually cause it to be a big problem. Another thing you have to watch out is that you're actually facing the correct direction. So I'm facing east, and as you can see, as I mentioned, I haven't mentioned yet, but I'm amazed. Towards positive X is back, so that they actually brought that back into the game. There's enough popular demand because that was one of the most annoying things that I ever had to deal with. So that is back in the game. So now you can see you have to go positive X or positive Z in order for this to work, because it has to run from from negative to positive in order for these to run in the right order. So once you have a good clock going, you basically are going to have to do a couple commands. So the first thing, you're going to set a command block objective for all entities that are type item. Set their Auto-Smelt value to 2 if the item type has an ID of gold ore. If they have a gold ore, then basically it will set their value to 2. This just basically tracks it so it knows that there actually was a gold ore, because you cannot, so you can actually spawn stuff around it and kill it later. This thing does the exact same thing, except for it's, instead of gold, it's iron. So basically it sets a value for 1 for iron and 2 for gold. The next thing it does is summon a gold ingot. This is a simple execute, so it's a nested summon command. The execute basically summons it at the location of the gold ore block. So basically it's going to summon it at an Auto-Smelt value of 2, at an item with an Auto-Smelt value of 2, at the exact location. It's going to summon an item at the exact location again, and it's going to summon a gold ingot with a count of 1. And if you don't have the count 1 tag, you actually cannot pick it up. So make sure that you have the count 1, otherwise it'll just kind of glitch out and you have no idea why you can't pick it up. The next thing you do, and again this is the same thing except for with iron, and a value of 1. Particle effects. This is the cool part of it. This was actually takes a lot of like tinkering to get exactly how you want it. It's mostly a matter of opinion. It's just what I found the best. So again, execute command at all of the Auto-Smelt value of 1, and this is actually for any Auto-Smelt value of 1. So if it's 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, etc. If it has an Auto-Smelt value, then it will run this command. So basically, it's going to do a particle lava, and then it's going to have at the exact location a size of 0, 0, 0, a speed of 1, and a count of 2. So it's going to spawn 2 particles at that location. So it's not too large, but it's enough to make the effect. The next thing it does, summon XP orbs. This is just again so you actually get XP. And then this is actually the tag. So if you want to do like 1 XP, that's about what coal gives you. So if you don't want very much XP from it, you can just do that. So you can kind of nerf it. You can control exactly how much XP. And all you have to do is, it's just another execute. It's basically summoning an XP orb. The last command that you have is actually to kill everything. So it's going to kill all the ores. So all that's left is the actual ingots. And that simply is a kill at E. Auto-Smelt 1 to 2. You don't actually have to have this, but I want to make sure that if anything is accidentally set to 3, it doesn't kill it if you haven't set it up yet. So it's just kind of a precaution. Once it kills it, then it'll be gone. And the final thing is to reset the scoreboard, which basically simply resets the Auto-Smelt value so that it will not run it again if it's already gone, but it won't like clutter the scoreboard if you have it visible on the sidebar. So that's basically the first part. That is what causes the actual particle effects. So basically that's everything except for the actual text on the side. Now this is actually something cool that I haven't seen before. The way that this actually works is not using the title, it's the subtitle. So if I do a title command at A, let's actually break some gold so we get a comparison. So basically you can see the 1 gold it's pretty small text. It's not like gigantic or anything. /title, there we go, at A, and then you do the title, and then you do text, or actually we can just say 1 gold. You'll see it's huge compared to this. So you basically, I did not want it that large because it's just annoying. And it's also in the center of the screen pretty much, so it's just kind of annoying. You don't really need it right above the center. So basically what I decided to do is actually use a subtitle feature. Now if you actually do subtitle, if you put sub at the beginning of this title, it will not work. And that is simply because if you set a subtitle, it actually doesn't set the subtitle, it just sets a value of the subtitle. The only way for the subtitle to actually be visible is if you set the title. So if you do title again, you'll see it appears twice. So that is just kind of how it works. It basically, as soon as you do the title command, it'll make it visible, but if you do a subtitle command, it'll just store it. And that is actually what this relies on. So basically, right here, I have 1 for each color. I'm just going to go over 1, and it just basically kind of tiles all the way down for a different objective. The first one, as soon as I go game mode 1, the first one basically, it's going to do title command, all players that have broken a diamond block, and that objective type is right here. So basically, all you have to do is scoreboard objectives add break diamond, stat.mineblock, minecraft.diamond ore. This is going to be replaced for iron and gold accordingly based on the actual ore, but that's how you add that objective. And then right here is how you set the time. I just have 055. So that'll just make it so it's not too intrusive. I'll just activate that so it's not too intrusive. And now all you have to do, so if you do right here, basically what it's going to be doing, it's going to set the title, and then it's going to set it for only players that have broken a diamond block. Once they have broken a diamond block, then basically it'll run this command on that player, and it'll set their subtitle value to this command right here. And basically this command, it's just simple JSON. So it's just basically tons of spaces, which basically pushes it all the way to the right. This is an easy way to make it move to the right. You may not like that effect. I just wanted to show you that you can do it with spaces. So if you want it to the right of the screen or on the very edge, you actually can do that. Now if I resize my screen, that'll mess with that. So you have to be really careful that you don't adjust it too much. Otherwise that will become a really large issue. So just make sure that you're a little bit careful with that. Then basically all you have to do that is you just kind of have, it's just a simple extra tag with text, diamond, and then all the tags that you want. So this is just completely customizable. The only part that's important is this part, the score break diamond 1. So if they have a score of exactly 1, then it will basically cause this to get set. This is exactly the same for these two. Moving on to this one, it basically is going to set the title to empty message. So now what you're going to do is basically title all players, and this is basically the exact same thing as before. And then at the end of this, all you have to do is set the actual title right here to text : quote space quote. And that'll basically cause the quote to be, this will actually cause the message to look blank. It's actually going to be a space, but spaces don't appear, so it actually will cause it to be blank. And that's just a good way to do it. You might not need quotes. I'm pretty sure you do, because I don't know if JSON registers the space. So as I said, I always use quotes for strings just because stuff like this makes it really easy to be able to do that. So once you set the title to quote, that'll actually cause it to be visible. So once it is visible, then you basically are done. And then this simply resets variable. So all you have to do is set the subtitle first, then set a title to an empty message, and then reset the variable, and you have yourself a working thing. Now anytime you're in creative, or not creative, anytime you're in survival, break a block, it'll appear that message. You can also, the nice thing about this is if you come over here, go back to game mode 1, and I actually change this time. Let's say I want 10, 20, 10. Now if I update this, and I go back over here, you will see that the time actually is changed. It actually stays up for quite a while, and that is, I mean, you don't have to worry about that anymore. It'll just stay up there for as long as you want. So you don't have to actually change the master command. All you have to do is change the one. You can do it remotely. You don't have to worry about putting on this fill clock or anything like that. You can just change this, just run this one command right here. Oops, there we go. So basically just change the times like that, and then you can easily just completely customize it. And yeah. That's basically all I wanted to show you in this video. I just wanted to show you the main features that I'm going to be using. I'm excited to be using the selector, and that's going to be awesome because you actually can do so much more with that. You can say people that are on teams. You can say a specific player. You can colorize their name. You can colorize the text around it. And plus the say command is so buggy. So I'm glad that they actually finally added the selector, because that causes a lot of stuff to be able to exist. You can also check. Another thing you can do that you couldn't do before is you could kind of do Tellraw all players radius of 5, which would basically say a message if there's a player, if there's a player in the radius of 5. But the only problem with that is it doesn't say a person's name. So now you actually say like a player is like within 5 blocks of a block, 5 blocks of a block. Yeah, just sounded weird. It's basically if you have like a control point, you can actually say exactly who's capturing it. You don't have to worry about the stupid say command, and it just makes everything a lot easier. So I'm actually going to be working that into my maps soon. I have a couple of maps coming, but I'm now moved into my house. I'm starting summer classes, so I'm getting settled in, and we will get going. I have a new episode of Sky Survival coming out soon. That is the first one with I'll do. And yeah, so I will see you guys all later, but thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like and share this with your friends so that they can know about the awesomeness of the snapshots. Hopefully 1.8 is finally released, because this is going to be awesome for map makers once it's finally released, because it'll be easily available and all the servers will be updated to it, and it will just be a good time. So I will see you guys all later, and oh yeah, sorry, goodbye. No, seriously, why aren't you watching Sky Survival? Leave.